This Themistocles has shown himself to be quite brilliant in battle. Which is more than I can say for any of you. Do you gentlemen find my command unreasonable? Is it too much to ask for victory? For though I stand among 10,000, I am alone. I long for a soul who would stand by my side, who I could trust.
Back in 2007, moviegoers were blown away by 300, Zack Snyder's cinematic adaptation of Frank Miller's graphic novel depicting the Battle of Thermopylae. Approximately 7 years later, we get ourselves 300 Rise of an Empire. Zack Snyder's producing, but this time, no Murrow's directing, his second film following up 2008's Smart People. 300 Rise of an Empire is a prequel and a sequel to 300. It's a prequel in that we get a brief origin of Xerxes, and we get a parallel battle. While the Spartans are fighting the Persians on the northern coast, an Athenian force led by Themistocles, played by Sullivan Stapleton, defends the southern coast of Greece against the navy in the Battle of Salamis. Their main foe is Artemisia, played by Eva Green, the ruthless Persian commander of the navy, who will do anything to take down Greece. On the positive side, 300 Rise of an Empire is at 102 minutes, and being a sequel and having presumably a larger budget, is able to cram in more action set pieces. Those with base expectations for this film will get what they pay for. And occasionally it is thrilling, especially near the second half. And Eva Green is easy on the eyes and as somewhat fun in the role, even if her voice is overtly raspy for the villain.
You will be the God King.
The cons, on the other hand, is that 300 Rise of an Empire has a clunky first half, overt narration exposition. Xerxes' origin feels crowbarred into the story, even though it just traces back to the fact that this was supposed to be an adaptation of the yet-to-be-published Xerxes comic by Frank Miller. While people complain that Zack Snyder's 300 has set the trend and may have overtly used CG, there was still enough practical elements for it to be believable, where here there are points when you can clearly tell that certain people and enemy characters are clearly CG composites. Unfortunately, 300 also set the trend for how sword and sandals and fantasy movies are made, so this movie is kind of in the blend with all those other films, whether it be Immortals, Pompeii, The Legend of Hercules, even Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans, only this time it's more CG blood, more violent, a little more sex and nudity. People who are excited to see reprising characters show up are going to be disappointed. What Queen Gorgo, played by Leonidas, Dilios, played by David Wenham, and even Xerxes by Rodrigo Santoro are very underused to the point where it's pretty much disappointing, regardless of if it's in the constraints of the narrative or history. Overall, the movie, pretty much like its lead character, is just kind of bland, not really memorable, and just is there just to get the job done. I mean, when Zack Snyder went out to make 300, he set out to really make something. You could feel it in the filmmaking. You could feel it in the energy with the actors, such as Gerard Butler and Michael Fassbender. And that's what makes 300 a fairly rousing and exciting movie and very interesting. It seems there's a lot of skill and attention being put into this, where here it's serviceably just trying to get the job done, and it ends up just kind of being forgettable. Sure, we switched from land battles to naval battles. Eva Green's there to spice things up, but overall, this movie just was kind of underwhelming. On the infamous Pretentious Film Majors 5-star scale, 300 Rise of an Empire gets 2.5 beautiful deaths out of 5.
And let it be shown that we chose to die on our feet rather than live on our knees.